Hello viewers, welcome to another episode on HEALTHLINK TV show. In today's episode, we are going to discuss anemia. According to World Health Organization, about 42% of children less than 5 years and 40% of pregnant women are anemic. Those figures are a bit staggering. So in today's episode, our guests will educate us on anemia and its effect on the pregnant woman as well as the unborn baby. Later in the show, our dietitian will take us through certain foodstuffs that will help us manage and prevent anemia. This show is proudly sponsored by Milo, Nido, MNC Global, and Prince Syrup. There's no love like the mother's love. No one can support them like you do. And now more than ever, it is important to protect our kids from anything that will make them sick. That is why Nido is fortified with iron and vitamin C and D to help support their immune. So choose good nutrition. Choose Nido. Nido, your love, their future. Let's go for a breather. When we come back, our guests will take us through the topic, anemia. Welcome back. Our clinical guest for today is an experienced obstetrician gynecologist at Mamprobi Hospital, and he's also our in-house OBGYN. Dr. Benedict Afari is our guest for the best health show in Ghana, HEALTHLINK TV show. Doctor, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are your pregnant women?
They are doing very well.
Oh, great. So, Doc, what does it mean to have anemia?
Okay, so WHO defines anemia in pregnancy to be hemoglobin of less than 11 grams per deciliter.
Okay.
But in the general population, the anemia depends on the age and the sex. So, for example, in females, their cutoff point is 11.5 to 15.5 grams per deciliter. Grams per deciliter. So once it's less than that, they have anemia. Then in men, it's actually 12.5 to about 18 grams per deciliter. So when it is less than that cutoff, then we can also say that a man has anemia.
If you take about 10 pregnant women or 10 years, specifically 10 pregnant women, how many of them do you think will be anemic in Ghana?
About 5 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so anemia in pregnancy is quite a big problem, especially anemia at what we call the booking visit or registration. That's the first time they come to the antenatal care.
Okay.
Then we also have what we call anemia at 36 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at these two gestations or these 2 points in the life of the pregnant woman, if they come and the hemoglobin level is less than 11, we say they have anemia.
Okay, since you've mentioned pregnant women, which group of people are at risk of anemia?
Yes, so generally pregnant women, the first group, then women in the reproductive age group, especially those who are menstruating. Then we have children under 5.
Okay.
Yes, then we have people who have chronic diseases like chronic kidney disease, liver disease, and so on. And those who are immunosuppressed, like those who have HIV/AIDS, then those who also have cancer, they also have problems with anemia.
Okay,
so these are some of the at-risk groups that we have here.
All right. What predisposes this group of people to anemia?
Yes, so if you take the pregnant women, for example, they have anemia because of what we call dilutional anemia. In the pregnant woman, once pregnancy happens, there is something we call an increase in the blood volume.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one makes it predispose them to getting anemia, and that one is dilutional because the red cell itself is the same, but in terms of the volume, it has increased. Okay. Then in the pregnant woman, the blood volume increased about 50%. Yeah, then the pregnant woman, there's increased demand because now the baby is also supposed to be getting some of the anemia and the folate for its development. Okay. Then, of course, for the pregnant one, because of reduction in their immunity, so they are prone to disease like malaria, infections, and these all kind of predispose them to getting anemia.
Okay.
Yes.
Apart from that, what about the children under 5 years? And you mentioned immunosuppressed people.
So the children under 5, in terms of their nutrition, the diet, in terms of the illnesses that they have, and in terms of certain diseases that they have, all these can cause them to have anemia. And of course, if you are immunosuppressed, a child who is immunosuppressed, like a child who has HIV/AIDS, a child who has a kidney disease or cancer can also have anemia.
From what you've mentioned, it looks like there are various types of anemia.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we have different classifications of anemia. So
Right.
in terms of the structure of the red blood cell, in terms of its size and the color, we have about 3 groups of anemia. So we have what we call the nomochromic nomocytic. It's a
Wow.
big word. That means the normal size of the red blood cells and the normal color. Then you have those that you have small size and the color is reduced.
Okay, so for that type of anemia, which group of people mostly experience that?
So that was what we call the iron deficiency anemia.
Okay.
So anybody who has ongoing blood loss, chronic blood loss can fall under iron deficiency anemia. Even pregnant women also are predisposed to iron deficiency anemia.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have the last one in terms of the structure, what we call the macrocytic anemia. That one is the the folate deficiency anemia and vitamin B12 deficiency anemia. Those one falls under that.
So if you don't have folate and vitamin B12, you are at risk of getting
Megaloblastic
okay.
anemia, yes.
Great.
Yes,
Great.
that's good. Then, so that is about the structure of the red blood cells. Then we go to how the anemia happens. We have anemia that results from loss of the blood. Yes, so for example, if you have acute bleeding or chronic bleeding, you can have anemia. Then we have anemia that is due to the destruction of the red blood cells. For example, we have certain inherited conditions like sickle cell disease.
Okay.
They are always breaking the red blood cells, so they're always prone to anemia. That is inherited. Then we have acquired causes of that anemia, especially if you have malaria. When you have malaria, for example, the malaria parasites, they get into the red blood cells and they break them. So there is what we call hemolysis. So you can get anemia from that.
Okay.
Yes, then we have another type of anemia where we have inadequate production. So if you have disease like, if you are not having enough iron stores, you're not having enough folic acid, you're not having enough vitamin B12, you have anemia. Or even if you have diseases that are affecting the bone marrow, that's where the red blood cells are produced, then that one also gives you anemia. Okay. Then in terms of the severity of the anemia itself, you can have mild, moderate, and severe anemia. So these are broadly the classifications of the anemia.
So during my research, I realized that women are at higher risk of getting anemia than men. Why does it happen that way?
Yes, so women, especially in the reproductive age, they are having their menses every month.
Okay.
And you know that you need to have you need to spend some time before you can build your iron stores. Okay. It takes about 3 to 6 months to build iron stores. So you can imagine if you are losing blood every month, then it means that the storage will be lacking behind. So exactly. Women, is because of the constant bleeding that they have every month. That's why they tend to have more anemia than the men. Then of course they also get pregnant, and the pregnancy also has its own problem. Then of course, adolescents also, they also have problems with anemia. So if you look at the women, because of all these physiological problems that they have, they tend to have anemia more than the men.
Doc, before we talk about the complication, remember this show is proudly sponsored by Milo, MNC Group, Nido, and Prince Syrup. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you skip breakfast, your body will run out of glycogen by the middle of the morning, which means reduced energy burst. When this happens, your body is like a car that runs out of gas. So that is the reason why you need to breakfast your day every day. Milo gives you the nourishment of malt, milk, and cocoa, and the delicious taste of Milo to help you breakfast your day. Milo contains micronutrients that helps with energy release, normal muscle function, and maintenance of normal bones during child's physical activities. Breakfast your day with Milo to help give your child the right start for the day. With Milo, every child can be an MVP. With Milo, every child is a champion. Milo, the energy food drinks for future champions. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Before we went on break, we were discussing anemia and the various types of anemia. And doctor even gave us the reason why women are at higher risk of getting anemia than men. So now let's move to the complication, doc. What are some of the complications of anemia?
Good. So the complications in terms of the mother and the baby. So if you take them like that, anemia can cause miscarriages. That's spontaneous abortion. Anemia can cause preterm labor. So when it happens like that, then there's prematurity. Anemia can also cause low birth weight.
Okay.
So the babies are born at term, all right, but the weight is less than 2.5.
Okay.
Yes. Then, of course, anemia can cause death. That's the ultimate.
Wow.
Then anemia also can predispose the woman to postpartum hemorrhage.
What is postpartum hemorrhage?
So when a woman bleeds after delivery.
Okay.
So usually if it is vaginal delivery, if a woman bleeds more than 500 ml,
okay,
then
like a sachet water.
Exactly. Yes. Then we classify it as postpartum bleeding. Or if it's cesarean section, they bleed more than 1,000 ml.
Okay.
Then we say it is postpartum hemorrhage. Yeah.
Okay.
Anemia is one of the top 10 causes of maternal mortality.
Okay.
Even in some places, it's among the first 5 causes.
Okay.
And even if you look at the first 5 causes, hemorrhage, sickle cell, and infections, they all, in a way, anemia contributes to them.
Okay.
So anemia is quite a big issue.
So if we think about 5 deaths, how many do you think can be caused by anemia?
So about 20%. So that's about 1.
1.
Yes, 1 out of 10 will be as a result of anemia.
Then it's very serious.
Yes, it's quite serious.
Oh, wow. So how can we prevent anemia in pregnancy?
Good. So prevention of anemia in pregnancy, there are various strategies according to Ghana Health Service. So one of the main strategy is supplementation with iron and folic acid.
Okay.
So we expect that every pregnant woman will be taking iron and folic acid. And you take it throughout the pregnancy, even until 6 weeks after delivery.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you have specific iron for them, or you can just walk into any pharmacy to purchase?
Yeah, there are a lot of products. But usually the basic is the ferrous sulfates.
Oh, okay.
Then the folic acid is just folic acid. So yes, but we have a lot of brands that we're not going to mention here.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, then the other strategy is about malaria.
Okay.
Because if you look at the way the anemia happens, malaria is one of them. So there are strategies also to prevent and treat malaria. So we have the use of the insecticide-treated nets, then use of the SP, then effective case management.
Okay.
Yes. Then there's even one strategy of giving iron supplementation, folic supplementation to adolescents and women in the reproductive age group. So that even before they get pregnant, we know that they are starting on a good note.
That's a good initiative.
Yes, yes, by Ghana Health Service, and very, very good. So because of that, usually when the pregnant women, they come, we have what we call the anemia at booking, or we check the HB or the hemoglobin level at booking to know whether they are starting off being anemic or not.
Okay.
Then when they are 36 weeks too, we check. But if you look at the antenatal book that we use, the woman, depending on when she starts the antenatal care, may do up to about 6 check of the HB. Okay. So at every point, we are checking to be able to know whether there's anemia or not, so that we can manage it, because we know the complications it can bring during the pregnancy or even after delivery. Okay. And if you look at the anemia at booking and at 36 weeks, the target, according to Ghana House, is supposed to be about 100%. So what it means that every pregnant woman coming for registration, we should check the HB. So that one in my facility, for example, we are doing 100%.
Since you've mentioned your facility, how do you manage anemia over there?
Good. So before we manage anemia, we need to diagnose that you have anemia. Okay. We've already said that when your HB is less than 11, you have anemia. Yeah. So depending on whether it's mild, that is 9 and 10, or it's moderate, 7 and 8, or it's less than 7, that is severe anemia. Okay. That is what we do. And we need to take a history. We need to examine the pregnant woman. Then we know which type of anemia she's having. Okay. Then we can go on to treat it. So usually for the mild and moderate, we give them hematinics, that is iron and folic acid preparations. But those who have severe anemia, we have IV iron preparations that we start with. Then those who actually need transfusion too, we go ahead to transfuse them. Yes.
Okay. Since you've spoken about the management, I want to know something. How do you manage a patient who refuses blood transfusion?
Yes. So for those who refuse blood transfusion, it is their belief.
Okay.
You know, as adults, you cannot be forced to do something against your belief. So there's a documentation to the effect that even when at the point of dying, they should not be transfused with blood.
Okay.
So they come with a consent, a documentation that shows that they shouldn't be given blood even if they are dying. So we respect their wishes.
Okay.
But we encourage all women who is not against their belief to be able to avail themselves. So because of that, we do periodic blood donation exercise. So at my facility, now we are doing monthly blood donation exercise so that we're able to get enough blood to be able to stock our blood bank so that if any pregnant woman needs blood to save her life, we can get it for them. Yes.
In case they refuse the transfusion, do you give any other medication?
Yes, so there are various ways of dealing with that. So one of the ways is to make sure that we build up their HB even before they go into labor. Because, you know, labor is very unpredictable.
Yeah.
You can have very good HB, but you can bleed. So if you are not starting with a good HB, you can imagine if you bleed just a little, you're already down. So we have to build their HB levels. Then those who don't agree to the blood transfusion, we can do the IV iron that I talked about, IV iron sucrose. Then there are times that we give certain colloids to be able to augment the blood volume. Very important. So these are some strategies. Even some people, they may agree to the blood transfusion, but if it is their blood, so we call we have what we call the autologous blood transfusion. So if it is her blood, she will accept. But if it's somebody's blood, she will not accept. So we have various spectrum, of the refusal for the blood transfusion. So those who are against it, and there are some that if it's their own blood, they will accept it.
Oh, okay. Yes. But Doc, before you leave, can you take blood tonic during menstruation?
Yes, you can take it. But sometimes the observation is that they tend to bleed more when they take it. So we advise before and after.
Okay.
So you can be taking the supplement to build your HB because there's always ongoing loss. Okay. Then of course, after the menstruation duration or the period, you can also take your supplement to augment your stores. Yes.
Okay. So Doc, what do you have to tell our pregnant women out there?
To all the pregnant women, anemia is very important and they can help us to be able to prevent and to treat it so that the complications that we've talked about, they don't get it. So we encourage them to take their medications every day. We encourage them to eat well, and we encourage them that they should bring their relatives to donate the blood. So if they need it, we can transfuse. We don't want any pregnant woman to die of anemia or any baby to lose its life because of anemia. Thank you very much.
Doc, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too.
It's a pleasure having you here again.
I'm grateful.
Viewers, you are watching HealthLink TV show brought to you by Milo, MNC Global, Prince Syrup, and Nido. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you skip breakfast, your body will run out of glycogen by the middle of the morning, which means reduced energy burst. When this happens, your body is like a car that runs out of gas. So that is the reason why you need to breakfast your day every day. Milo gives you the nourishment of malt, milk, and cocoa, and the delicious taste of Milo to help you breakfast your day. Milo contains micronutrients that helps with energy release, normal muscle function, and maintenance of normal bones during child's physical activities. Breakfast your day with Milo to help give your child the right start for the day. With Milo, every child can be an MVP. With Milo, every child is a champion. Milo, the energy food drinks for future champions. Now let's go to the dietitian scanner. Welcome to the dietitian scanner. Today I have with me Mami Kesowa from Kolebu Teaching Hospital. She has great interest on preventive health. Mami Kesowa, you are welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you have here?
Yeah, we have a number of iron-rich foods as well as some ingredients for preparing a smoothie.
Okay. All right. So, doctor mentioned some of the causes of anemia or low blood level.
Okay.
I want to know, as a nutritionist or dietitian, right? Okay. So, what are some of the nutritional causes of anemia?
Okay. So there are types of anemia, and the nutritional anemia, or say iron deficiency anemia, is one type. We also have anemia that can be caused by nutrient deficiencies. So we're looking at nutrients like vitamin B12, vitamin B9. Some studies have shown that even vitamin C deficiency as well as protein deficiency can lead to some forms of anemia.
Great. So what are some of the food stuff that contains vitamin B12 and the other vitamins you mentioned?
I would like to pick it from the iron deficiency anemia and then we move. So with the iron deficiency anemia, I'm sure the doctor would have mentioned that is because when you have low levels of iron in your body or in your diet, your hemoglobin levels are low, or what we mostly say HB in the hospital. And this iron can be found in a number of foodstuff. Mostly we can get iron from our dark green leafy vegetables, like what we have here. We have Anemia, which most Ghanaians use in making okra stew or other types of delicacies. We also have kontomire, which we also like to eat in Ghana, as well as any other green leafy vegetables like the jute leaves or what we call the ayoyo, etc. We also get some of this iron from our red meat. Okay. We also get iron from eggs, from fish, from milk, etc. So these are some of the sources of the iron. But when we come to folate or B9, realize that when women are pregnant, we mostly give them folate pills.
Folic acid?
Yes, folic acid pills. So we mostly get this folate from meat and then fish and milk. So these
red
are
meat,
fish and milk. So those are the sources we get folate mostly from.
Are there foods that can promote iron absorption?
Yes, there are foods that promote iron absorption. With foods that we eat, there's something we call bioavailability of the food. So you can eat, let's say, this whole plate of pineapple, and your body will not absorb all the nutrients in it. Okay. So with the types of iron that we have, the iron we get from the plants, foods, they are not readily available. Like their bioavailability is low. So vitamin C rich foods promote the absorption. But if you are eating iron that is coming from your red meat, your fish, your eggs, those ones are readily available. So vitamin C foods like orange, like tomatoes, even the green leafy vegetables by nature also have a good amount of vitamin C. Most of our fruits that we eat also provide a good amount of vitamin C.
Which foods will you recommend for a pregnant woman with low blood level?
Okay, so for a pregnant woman with low blood levels, I'll encourage that the person eats a lot of greens and adding these vitamin C rich foods that we've mentioned. And also they should try and eat some forms of animal protein. So mostly in pregnancy, some of the challenges are nausea. Most pregnant women would throw up when they eat things like meat, fish, or chicken. So if you're a pregnant woman and you're trying to work on your HB levels, I'll advise you look for the animal source of protein you can tolerate. If it's just eggs that you can take with that pregnancy, it's better to take the egg than to eat your meals without any form of animal protein at all. And if you can't take the eggs, we have beans. Beans are also a very good source of iron. In fact, if you eat just a cup of beans, you can meet your iron levels for the day. So if you're a pregnant woman and you're struggling, you can eat some beans. Just that you note that it's a plant source, so you have to add your vitamin C to it. So since some pregnant women will throw up when they take any of the local stews or soups, if you are really struggling, you can go for your greens in the form of smoothies. Okay. And here we have some spinach. And it's one of the good sources of iron. It's not very high, but it's a good source of iron. So I have a few ingredients here that we can use to make a spinach smoothie that if you're a pregnant woman and you're struggling with iron intake through greens, you can try at home. So for this recipe, ideally, you need ice so that your smoothie is not watery. And if you don't have ice, you can also use some things that thicken smoothies like seeds. So if you have some chia seeds at home, you can throw some, you can make some into a pudding, put it in water, soak overnight, get the pudding, and then add it to your smoothie. So if you want it very smooth, then you can blend some more, but sometimes you want it to be a little chewy. Right. So our smoothie is ready, looking very nice.
So Mami Kesewa, I've heard a lot of misconceptions concerning how best you can increase your blood volume. So a combination of fixed drink and tomato paste. Okay. Does it really increase your blood volume?
Okay, so I would say no.
Okay.
And then my reason is that when we talk about increasing your iron levels, we've mentioned today that there are some foods that have high levels of iron, okay? Every food that you pick might have some quantities, but some have high levels. So if you have anemia, you're trying to boost your iron levels, you should go for those that have the high levels of iron, okay? And tomato is not a good source of iron. Right. So having tomato paste is not going to increase your HP.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Great. I hope to see you soon. Viewers, thank you so much for watching HEALTHLINK TV show. Anemia is a preventable condition, so try as much as possible to adhere to all the healthy tips given to you. If you have any question on anemia, kindly drop it on the number showing on your screen. Join me same time next week. Until then, stay healthy. HEALTHLINK, everything on health.
There is no love like a mother's love. No one can protect them like you do. And now more than ever, it is important to protect our kids from anything that could make them sick. That is why Nido is fortified with iron and vitamin C and D to help support your immune. So choose good nutrition. Choose Nido. Nido, your love, their future. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you skip breakfast, your body will run out of glycogen by the middle of the morning, which means reduced energy burst. When this happens, your body is like a car that runs out of gas. So that is the reason you need to breakfast your day every day. Milo gives you the nourishment of malts, milk and cocoa, and the delicious taste of Milo to help you breakfast your day. Milo contains micronutrients that helps with energy release, normal muscle function, and maintenance of normal bones during a child's physical activities. Breakfast your day with Milo to help give your child the right start for the day. With Milo, every child can be an MVP. With Milo, every child is a champion. Milo, the energy food drink of future champions.